Alright YouTube, it's Sunday, December 2nd, about 1 o'clock. We're just now getting started on a truck for today. I planned on getting an early start, but let's see, I was awake till like 2 in the morning. I was out here until almost 12 last night doing some sanding. It's pretty much the only day I got to work on it, but I planned on getting an early start this morning. I was going to sleep as much as I wanted to, but got a phone call at about 8 from my mother. She had some fluid underneath her car, and it's kind of a ritual for her. Every time my nephew adds a little coolant, my nephew's a pretty decent mechanic. He's about 30 years old now. He's doing a lot of work on the side, and he's a pretty good mechanic, especially with the modern day stuff. But anyway, anytime he adds a little, he goes over and services her car for her, and anytime he adds a little fluid to the radiator, which is in the overflow cap on a 2002 Taurus, I guess after she drives for a while, it pukes a little bit out of the overflow, and she gets a little puddle, then it quits. But every time that happens, she calls me and wants me to look at it. It's kind of an aggravating ritual, but what can you do? It's your mother. I'm constantly going over there and looking for noises that don't exist and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm not in the best of moods, but that's just the way it goes. Let me show you what I got done, and I'll try to put together a video. We're going to not in the best of moods since it's kind of a nasty rainy day. It is warm out here though. I do like that. I hope this winter is like last winter. It's going to help me get this truck painted through the winter time. But yeah, we got most of it blocked down. It feels pretty decent. I'm going to wait until I get everything ready, I think, for primer. I'm not sure. I might do it one panel at a time. But we went ahead and moved this window last night. Got all this sanded down. I sanded that down with 180. Remember, this truck had some clear coat. It was peeling around the corners and stuff. Half the roof is sanded. I think I mentioned that last time. I still haven't sanded back here. It's a little dusty and dirty. But, yeah, you get some water stains there. That there is pretty smooth. Smooth enough, because remember, you're not going to be able to see that once the bed's on it. I'm happy with that. But, yeah, this turned out pretty straight. Kind of sucks that I had to use that much body filler on that just because my weld seam's there, but I warped my panel and that's my fault. So I had a few low spots I had to fill. I'm going to do that. I'm sure some experienced body men would have got a better way to do it, but this is the way I do it. This is what works for me. And I have found a channel. A guy builds a lot of street rods and stuff like that. Does a lot of body work and paint stuff, and I'm picking up some pretty decent tips from him, so more of his videos I watch. His name is Friendly Pete. I forgot the name of his channel, but he's entertaining to watch, and I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of good informative stuff on there on the paint and body work. The guy knows what he's doing. So the more of his videos I watch, hopefully we'll pick up a few tips, and I'll show you some things, and I won't try to steal his ideas. I'll just tell you, I watched this on I think it's My Friend Pete, they call him, yeah. I watched this on My Friend Pete's channel, and we'll try it. But anyway, enough of that. Alright, I'm going to get to work. I'm going to go ahead and finish sanding this down. I might try to get the other side of my top wet sanded down before I remove my windows. We might do a little window removal on this side, but I'm going to wait till I get the top sanded down because of the water I'll be getting down there. I always like the wet sand. Alright, let's pause the camera and get to work. Alright, here's the next thing we're going to do. First of all, we went ahead and did our finishing touches on our body filler on the other side. I kind of got a little change of plans of what I think I said when I started this video. I decided to go ahead and get ready to start spreading some body filler on this side. And the only body work we have to do on this side, we got to fill in these holes here. This is where the old mirror's bolted on, like I explained to you a couple of videos ago. And I don't know if you can, no, you can't see that far, but there's some, there's a weld seam on my cab corners, just like the other side. I'll show you that later. But first of all, we got to weld up these holes. And what I did, I went ahead and drilled these out to 3/8. They was like 5/16. Had a little body filler in them. And I'm going to make a round slug to go in there, so I don't have to fill that big hole in with weld. And first thing I'm going to do is get all the paint and any body filler, if there is any, away from that hole so we can weld it. And as you can see, there is some body filler, and there was a hole there. I'm not sure if that was for a different type mirror or what. I'm not sure what that was all about. Okay. Alright, there's it. Next thing we're going to do is, we've got body filler going everywhere. Make a slug. Let me turn off the camera and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, I'm going to show you how I make my slug, as I was talking about, to fill in those holes with. And this is what we call a shim puncher. It's for stamping holes in metal shims, in sheet metal. The reason I call it a shim puncher because it was used in the tool and die trade. I'm a tool and die maker. I was for like 20-something years, which I am now transferred to the CNC department, and I operate a CNC mill, wire EDM machine, and all that. So I brought this home because I don't have much use for it at work anymore. I don't do a lot of work on the dies, and I don't make many shims. It's used for punching holes in shim stock, but also works great here in my garage. Now this particular shim puncher here was made by my dad, who was also a tool and die maker. But all you do is slide your metal in there. That gap will hold about a 50 thousandths thick piece of steel. Here's your punch. I got several punches for all these different size holes. This bottom here is ground to a sharp edge. Down inside that hole, the second plate of steel, I guess I should say, but all you do is do that. And it's going to be hard to do one-handed. Should have brought the tripod over here. And this slug will fall on the floor when I do this, but there it goes. And voila, you got a little slug to fill your hole in, and we'll weld that in there. Let me make my second one and we'll do a little welding. Okay, we got our slugs fitted in there. Like that, it's a good tight fit. Not a big gap to fill in with weld. And what I did, I got magnets. I took my door panel off and I got magnets on the other side to kind of keep that from falling through. I want to push them through. So we're going to attempt to weld this. Hopefully my settings are good on my welder. We'll see how it welds. And I think I mentioned before, my welder doesn't work. Has not been working very well, but I did get a new torch for it. I just haven't put it on yet. But for this tiny little job, we'll be grinding the welds off anyway. Let's see how it does. Pushing on me, but something else I wanted to mention. I told you I had a magnet on the other side. I have noticed that if you use magnets to hold your piece in place when welding, I feel like the magnetism kind of affects your weld. It makes the weld act funny. So now that it's tacked in place, I can go ahead and get my magnets out. These right here, these are really handy. You can get them at Harbor Freight, or there's another place called Bargain Supply here in Louisville. I don't know if there's any Bargain Supplies in other parts of the United States or not, but they're really cheap. And I mean, these are like, I think there's like a 99 cents a piece, or $1.30, something like that. These are a little more. The bigger they are, the more expensive they are. But and you can get you like $5 or $10 worth of these, and they're priceless because they're handy for so many things, holding stuff in place for you and all that. Good for, like, I got my frame, painted frame covered in plastic. You don't want it blowing around. You can't find nothing to lay on top of it, weight it down. Those magnets are handy for that. Let's see if we can make this weld a little better without the magnets. Whoops, now that did not work out very good. That one didn't stick. We'll redo that, but I'll go ahead and finish welding this one up on video. Well, one thing that would help if I put my ground clamp back on. I probably would have gotten it well if I had forgotten to do that. Right? Problems. Okay. Welding very good at all, really. Try a little more heat. Much I hate to do that on thin metal. I have to pause the camera and fool with it. I was hoping to do a successful weld on video for you. But you know how that works. If anything's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong on camera. Oh, that's better. It's something you got to take your time with. This was already kind of bowled out, which is one of the reasons I wanted to get rid of those big mirror braces and use the small mirrors, because actually it was the mirrors that pull that out. After this cools down and I grind it down, I'll probably have to tap it in and fill it. Actually, I could have went a little slower. If you just tack it a little bit at a time, it doesn't really get hot enough to warp anything. But I always tend to get in a hurry and when I finish welding up. But if I know I'm going to have to fill it anyway, I do it that way. So I'm going to find this other slug. It fell on the floor somewhere. I'll get it picked up. You pause the camera and we'll take care of that. Okay, that welded a lot better than the other side. See, that's all built up all high. Looks like crap, but we're going to grind it down. But that could be a lot better, but it's better than that side. But anyway, what I'm saying is we've got less to grind off there. So you want to get your welder working as good as you possibly can, so you got less to grind off. You know, even if it doesn't matter what it looks like, and you're going to grind it off. Anyway, we need to get that new torch on this welder before we do any more welding. But I think this is pretty much all the welding I need to do to the body of this truck. So let's grind that weld down and we'll spread a little body filler. I always like to finish up with the sanding, or they call it a flap disc. Okay, we got our body filler mixed up here. You got to work kind of fast so this don't set up on me, but these are the lower patch panels. Now, I'm not an expert Bondo spreader. I also got some tips from that channel the other day, but I don't really have a good spreader. But I always had a bad habit of leaving a very rough surface to sand down after I spread my body filler. I've seen some of those good body guys just spread it down so smooth that it looked like they didn't need to do very much sanding. I guess that takes practice, but just the little tips that guy I watched was giving while I was making this video really helped. See that's it. Excuse me, I'm stuttering again. That right there is a lot smoother than I used to spread it. It's all in technique. Yeah, which I had that looking good. I kind of messed that up. There we go. Now I'm not going to try to get it perfect. I'll end up making it worse. Let's see, right here where the rear cab corner meets the rocker. Really, that gap's supposed to be there. I'm going to fill that in, and the reason I am, the other side I ended up doing that because it didn't line up very well, but the rest of it did, so I was kind of stuck with it being that way. So if I'm going to do it to one side, I'll do it to the other. Just all it does is fill in a little gap. It'll look a little different. This here, I'm building that up probably a lot higher than I have to. And you'll see me spreading this on top of shiny paint, which I shouldn't do because it's not going to stick to it very well. But when I block sand that down, it's going to be off of that paint anyway. So this side here was sunk in low, which it already was. The side there that I thought was high, it's close to level. It won't need a lot. I always build it up a lot higher than I have to, so that hopefully I only have to do it once. Like I said, I'm not an experienced body man, so I usually have to go back and redo stuff. Now I gotta get where you can't see, at least where the camera's not pointed, and get the back of the cab where my weld seam is. You just hear me talk. I know some of y'all, I got a comment on one of my videos about too much background noise. I don't know if he was I think he was talking about me talking too much because there was no background noise. That's okay. Hey, you know what fun is a video, or what good is a video to watch if the person doesn't say anything, right? Some of us talk too much. We know. We don't care. Anyway, I got a lot of leftover body filler and nothing to do with it. I'm going to put it right on that corner. I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing here. It's starting to set up on me already. Yeah, that corner looks rough, but we will sand that in. Now, let me grab this camera. And, yeah, you couldn't see what I was doing in the back, so I'll show you all of it. There you go. There's all that body filler spread all over it. So now I get to wait, I don't know, about an hour for that to set up, and I may do some window removal. Yeah, I think I will. we'll do a video on that for anybody that wants to disassemble a truck like this. It might come in handy. Stay tuned for more. Alright, we'll start by removing this side rear window. Let me mount the camera inside the truck, and it's pretty easy. I'll show you how we get that out. Okay, it's kind of cramped quarters with me and the tripod in the rear seat area of the truck, so we'll try to do this without getting my head out of the way. First thing you got to do is take these 6 bolts out, or nuts. The studs are made into the rubber weather stripping that the window inserts into, and it's a 9mm nut. A lot of them, they're not super tight. I noticed last night I took the driver's side out. You can take them off with your fingers. On some of them you can, some of them you can't, but they're not drawn in tight. I'm sure there's a reason for that. If you draw them out too tight, it probably squeezes the weather stripping. I'll show you how it looks when I get the whole assembly out. The window's the window and rubber stripping comes out all together. The window kind of fits inside of the stripping, then you bolt it all in. I guess if you buy this new, it's got the studs in it. Hopefully, I'm going to replace all this. But I'm wanting to get these windows out of here because the last time I painted it, which was in 2001 or 2, I didn't do that, and well, you tape it off, it doesn't look right. There's a lot of buildup. I noticed last night I wet sanded the whole driver's side after I got that window out, and there was a lot of buildup from the black paint when I painted it because I couldn't get under the weather stripping. And you get paint on your weather stripping, you can do it this way, it makes it look a lot better. Now, I don't know if this side's going to be the same. I see some rubber goo up in there. But this window won't pop right out. Actually, this one will. Got to be kind of careful. Last night, this one's going to be easier than the other side. Last night I had to get on the outside and take a putty knife and get it underneath the outside of the stripping. But I'm just kind of, what I probably should do is run a knife up in there and cut that loose. But let's see if we can get lucky and not break a window. If you do it evenly, it won't break the window. There we go, it's coming out. See that rubber sticky stuff stretching away? That's what's holding it in. And there we are. Yeah, these are not too bad. Outside of this stuff. Now, get all that black goo off the outside of it before we sand the inside of that window hole there. Let me pause the camera and get the camera out of here. Okay, last night when I took the other side off, I seen all that goo up in there. My first thought was, that's going to be fun to do. You know how you usually got to take a putty knife and get that out the best you can, and maybe take lacquer thinner to get the rest. But this, making sure my head isn't in the way, is on top of nice shiny paint, and look at that. I don't know how well you can see. Yeah, you can. It just comes right off. It's sticky and tacky, but it's not, you know, it don't leave a lot of residue behind when you peel it off. And I was really glad to see it came off that easily. But that's all you gotta do to get that stuff out of there. I was thinking it'd be like the rope seal you use on like your front windows. Actually, this truck has it. I remember my Trino had it. A lot of your older cars had the old really sticky rope seal. Goes on your front windshield. I was afraid it'd be something like that, and that stuff is really hard to get off. This is pretty sticky, but it comes at least a little dirt on your black residue on your finger, but it doesn't leave behind a really hard to clean up mess. Turning around to make sure my camera was on. Alright. Yeah, that could be, that kind of glue there could be a lot worse, I guess. Yeah, that comes off pretty easy. And in fact, I didn't even, I sanded the other side last night. I didn't even go back and clean it with lacquer thinner, which maybe I should have, but it doesn't even, you can just see shiny paint on there like when the truck was new. This truck used to be green, by the way. I guess you're noticing that now. But yeah. And yeah, that's all of it. You get a big ball of goo there, and you just throw it away. Throw it at somebody. Whatever you want to do with it. Get this camera off here. And right here is why you want to take your windows out if you can to paint one, especially when you got that type of weather stripping. We won't do the back window tonight, but yeah, that back window is going to have to come off. See how when I painted before, see that red in there from the primer where it just, you can't tape it off right. It's a lot, it looks a lot better if you just take all them out. And we'll do this side like we did the other side, use some duct tape and some plastic. Keep all the water out when I'm wet sanding and the dust out of the interior. You'll get some in it, but after you finish painting your car or truck, you can clean the interior out. Just don't let too much crap get in there. Okay, it is 3 o'clock now. Let me go ahead and, I think I'll call this a video. And yeah, well, the next video we'll go ahead and do a how-to on how to get all this out. Got your window felt right here and some rubber right here. All this comes out. It's pretty easy. It took me a while to figure out the other side, but it's only a couple screws and bolts, and then it all falls out. Okay, I'm going to call this a video. Looks like we got a little bit done this weekend. Not as much as I wanted to, but that's the way it goes. Thanks for watching, and I think I got another new subscriber this week. Appreciate it. Stay tuned for more. We're going to try to start making weekly videos again, because I'm kind of, now that we done made a mess in here, I'm wanting to get this truck ready for primer and get the other body parts in here and get this thing ready to paint. Hopefully we can go racing this week, next spring. Thanks for watching. That's it.